Inside your body, simple strings of amino acids, the basic building blocks of life, violently twist into impossibly complex knots. These folded structures are proteins. They act as the physical machines that digest your food, carry oxygen through your blood, and power your immune system. Every single protein-specific job is dictated entirely by its final three-dimensional shape. For 50 years, biologists struggled with the protein folding problem. If a protein misfolds even slightly, its machinery breaks down, leading directly to severe physical conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Finding the exact shape of just one protein required X-ray crystallography and a year of painstaking laboratory work, costing upwards of $100,000 per molecule. In 2020, an artificial intelligence system called AlphaFold 2 bypassed that physical bottleneck. It predicted these structural shapes with near-perfect accuracy in a matter of hours. The achievement was so definitive that it earned Google DeepMind's Demis Hassabis and John Jumper the 2024 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. But the 2020 model had a severe blind spot. It only mapped proteins in total isolation, ignoring the interactive reality of a living cell. Proteins do not operate alone. To map biological reality, we have to see how the entire cast of molecules interacts on the cellular stage together. In May 2024, DeepMind released AlphaFold 3. This system shifted focus entirely from isolated proteins to predicting the structure of complete multi-part molecular complexes. The AI now accurately models how proteins physically lock together, with DNA, RNA, and the essential chemical modifiers that regulate healthy cell function. To calculate these variables, DeepMind built a diffusion network. It starts with a completely noisy, chaotic cloud of disconnected atoms. Over many computational steps, the AI progressively strips away the static, forcing the atoms to lock into a highly accurate, three-dimensional physical arrangement. For predicting how these different molecules interact, AlphaFold 3 demonstrates a 50% improvement over the best traditional physics-based prediction tools. By calculating exactly how these complex parts fit together, biologists can observe cellular mechanics without needing to put a physical sample under a microscope. The most immediate application of this computing power is happening right now in human pharmacology and rational drug design. A vast majority of pharmaceutical drugs are what biologists call ligands. Ligands are simply small molecules that bind directly to larger target proteins to alter their behavior. AlphaFold 3 predicts exactly how a potential drug molecule will bind to a target protein inside the human body, long before any chemist actually synthesizes that drug in a lab. DeepMind's spin-off, Isomorphic Labs, runs thousands of virtual chemical experiments in hours, completely bypassing years of physical trial and error. This technology is already being used to target bad cholesterol, engineer resilient agricultural crops, and break down plastic pollution. Researchers no longer have to guess and check physical compounds for years. They can mathematically prove a cure's viability on a server first. Despite its raw predictive power, AlphaFold 3 contains specific inherent flaws, and its release generated immediate friction within the scientific community. The first major technical limitation is static snapshots. In reality, biomolecular systems are fluid and constantly moving in a solution, but the AI struggles to capture this ongoing dynamic behavior. The model also suffers from AI hallucinations. Because it acts as a generative diffusion model, it can invent physically impossible structural order in regions of the cell that are actually completely chaotic. When the model launched in May 2024, DeepMind restricted access to the underlying code, citing safety and commercial considerations. This decision sparked massive backlash from researchers who rely on independent verification to do their jobs. After 6 months of sustained pressure, DeepMind reversed course in November 2024 and released the model code and weights for academic use. When an AI system has the capacity to convincingly hallucinate physical data, open source access becomes a strict requirement for scientific truth. Solving how molecules physically interact is a massive achievement, but it is merely the starting line for the next generation of biological engineering. Researchers are now working to fuse the three-dimensional predictive accuracy of AlphaFold with large language models, or LLMs, the same text-based AI systems that power ChatGPT, to add broad logical reasoning to the structural data. Nobel laureate John Jumper envisions machines that combine shape prediction with the ability to read science and perform independent scientific reasoning to solve diseases. Biology has operated for centuries as an observational, physical science, bound by the slow limits of laboratory equipment. It is now rapidly transitioning into a computational field. By treating amino acids, DNA, and chemical modifiers as programmable data, researchers can finally debug, edit, and engineer the fundamental code of life at the speed of software.